morning, Anthony. School report, first year.
Well, the head boy has not had a good year, partly because he went into the job without talking to the previous head boys, without finding out what the head boy does, without...
And head girl, by the way.
And the head girl, or the head girl, but he's a boy. Or working out who he needs to have around him, or working out what his story and what his purpose is. What can only he do? And that's what he hasn't worked out. So I think it is absolutely right that not in 100 years, Trevor, has anyone made such an inept start coming into the office of Prime Minister, the highest office in the country, with so little idea about what he's doing, why he's doing it, what story he's telling, what he's communicating, and the people he needs around him, both inside Downing Street and in the other key positions.
When you say not in 100 years, I can hear people already shouting at the telly, Liz Truss.
Hey, at least Liz Truss had a clear plan, Trevor. And, it was the right plan. And it's the plan that Starmer needs to have. Nothing matters more than growth and optimism. And Liz Truss had growth as her core objective, and she had optimism. She just went about it in totally the wrong way.
Well, look, I mean...
you can learn good and bad things from Liz Truss.
All right. I think that...
And she also had a good team. She had some good people around her.
Well, look, I think the Starmer team would probably say he had people now call a polycrisis to manage. He had riots at home, he had war abroad, the new White House, economy flat and sluggish, party rebellious. I mean, he's had a quite difficult road to ride, has he not?
Every Prime Minister has polycrises, and every Prime Minister has had the worst inheritance since Alfred the Great. But the question is, how do they negotiate it? And if you are a captain on a ship, you need to know where you're taking the ship of state, because they're going to be gales, they're going to be icebergs, they're going to be storms, they're going to be cross currents. If you don't know what direction it is, you're going to be blown off. And so when has he done well? He's done well. Somebody who doesn't have a clear direction does well when they're reacting, not when they're acting according to a script, but reacting. So he did well with the riots last summer. He's done really well on foreign policy, where he's been reacting to things that have happened. But where he's been much weaker is anyone knowing what the story is. If somebody knows what the story is, they can take things and reversals, things they don't like, because they see, that's how it fits into the overall narrative. If people don't know where they're going, then just about anything can be a cause of dissent and division.
Do you think this is actually about the Prime Minister, or is it about the wider administration, or is it just the times that we live in?
Trevor, it's about the Prime Minister. And, it's not just about the Prime Minister. We've heard a lot of hand-wringing from him the last week. We've had a lot of people saying, let Keir be Keir, and, he's not good at the big picture, but he's good at the small stuff. Well, I'm sorry, Prime Minister. Big picture is what the Prime Minister does. Small stuff, fixing problems, which you keep telling us you're doing, and you're a mechanic, or you're an engineer, or you're a lawyer, fixing this or that. That's fine. That needs to be done, but not by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's on the bridge. They're not down there in the engine room sorting out the rivets, or up, in the bar sorting out the brawls, or dealing with complaints from customers in the restaurant. They're on the bridge. They are communicating. They're saying, this is where we are going. And by the way, the direction that they need to be going is growth, growth, growth. Optimism, optimism, optimism. That's the best way to deal with reform, not thinking through in a micro way how you're going to counter reform. Show people that you're Prime Minister, show people you've got a story, show people things are getting better across the whole country with growth, and then, that will deal with reform.
Are there things that he should stop doing?
He should stop doing things that the Prime Minister doesn't do. And I think he could stop wringing his hands so much, because it's just unbecoming for a Prime Minister. It's not dignified. We need him to stand up, do the things that Prime Ministers do the things that Arsenal... Look, if he doesn't read history, and let's face it, he doesn't read history, He doesn't seem to know anything about history and what the Prime Minister does, but he does know a lot about Arsenal. So what did Wenger do? What does Arteta do? You know, they are the people setting the strategy for Arsenal. So learn from Arsenal, learn from these people. They set the strategy, they appoint the right players, put them in the right position.
But they never win silverware, Anthony, though. I mean...
well, I wouldn't blame... Look, people blame Starmer for many things, but I don't think you could totally fair to blame him for Arsenal not winning the silverware.
OK, well, that's not quite what they say at Emirates these days. But just more generally, where would you now... I mean, how does he dig himself out of the hole that you're describing?
OK. Prime Ministers are and number 10...
Unless you're saying basically he's just not...
No, he can do it. He can do it. But if he doesn't he's got to stop listening to apologists and he's got to start listening to tough people. He's got to do three things. He can dig it out, but if he doesn't look and sound different by September, he will keep in that crisis management mode. He'll remain as Prime Minister for a time, but he'll be like John Major after Black Wednesday or Gordon Brown after he came back on calling the general election. You are on the back foot. You've lost the initiative.
But
and so the things he needs to do is he needs to start getting that clear story and communicating it again and again and again, ad nauseam, what the core story is. And it is about hope. It's about optimism. It's about growth. And it's about we're going to do it. Two, he needs the right team. Morgan McSweeney rapidly needs to leave that building and go to Labour HQ and start talking about the next general election. He needs somebody ultra competent. There's somebody waiting in the wings. It's Ollie Robbins, who is Perm Sec at the FC Foreign Office, FCDO, who knows the job backwards. He's done it for two Labour Prime Ministers.
He was the person who was under consideration to be the Cabinet Secretary.
And he should have been the Cabinet Secretary. And he will be the Cabinet Secretary. And the current Cabinet Secretary can sort out the civil service. And my goodness, the civil service needs sorting out in a constructive, not in a degrading, belittling way as the Tories tended to do, but with real reforms, embracing technology, embracing what the best civil services are doing abroad. But you know, Robbins will provide that knowledge of growth, knowledge of how the Treasury operates, knowledge of how the civil service operates, and my goodness, it will start feeling incredibly different. He also needs to bring in somebody who can guide growth, somebody like Andy Haldane, but there are lots of fantastic women and men who know how to bring growth about, who need to be at the heart of number 10.
So, first of all, tell the story better. Secondly, get a better team. Just very quickly, next election, should Labour stick with him or twist?
I think they've got to stick with him. Look, it's going to be awful to have yet another Prime Minister. And, you know, it isn't, it is far from clear to me there's anybody out there who's better qualified with a better story to tell. Let's try and just hope that he listens this time as opposed to not listening. OK, Anthony, thank you so much for your time. We'll revisit this after the next term. We will.